Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to Tuesday, May 24th, 2022, Public Board Meeting of the Neshaminy School District. Ms. Burns, may I have call to order, please? Roll.
Mr. Allen?
Present.
Mrs. Hallenbeck?
Present.
Mrs. Bowman?
Here.
Mr. Krovitz is absent with prior notice. Mrs. Lafferty?
Here.
Mr. Linden?
Here.
Mr. Cirillo?
Here.
Mr. Sporny?
Present.
And Mr. Sullivan?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board met in executive session this evening prior to this meeting to discuss matters of employment, issues related to labor relations, the purchase or lease of real property, matters related to litigation, and matters related to school safety and security. Ms. Burns, do we have any announcements?
There were no announcements.
Announcements at this point. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. McGee.
Announcers say, "Welcome the Maple Point Band." For pregame, they're out on the field. Then they sung the national anthem. I had no idea. You'd think I was in charge of things. Various awards ceremonies, field days coming up, middle school moved up days, and ultimately on June 15th, the 127th commencement at Neshaminy, the class of 2022. So those are just amazing things going on. It looks like normal in Neshaminy. Let's hope it stays that way. And coincidentally, at the next work session, Mr. Meehan will be at the podium talking about some of our new initiatives and continuing initiatives on the lines of security in our buildings and safety of such. And that was pre-planned prior to today's horrible events. Mr. Allen, that is my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. McGee. At this time, our first period of public comment for agenda items only.
Ms. Burns, do we have any signups?
There were no signs for agenda items.
No signups. Okay. Moving on, brings us to call routine matters on the agenda. 2.01, minutes. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the attached minutes for the April 26, 2022 public board meeting, the May 10th, 2022 special public meeting, and the May 10th, 2022 public work session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We back at 8. Thank you. What? Yeah. Okay, that's what threw me. I'm sorry. 2.02, Treasurer's Report. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the attached Treasurer's Report for April 2022. Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hollenbeck. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. You did, I forgot.
Do the rest.
Well, I didn't have a lot to read.
No, you have a lot. There's a lot more.
All right. At the board's request, I will master motion 2.03 through 2.07. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sforny. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. That brings us to agenda item 3.01. Ms. Lafferty, please.
I'd like to make a master motion for 3.01, for 3.02, 3.03. A master motion for 3.05 through 3.08. A master motion through 3.10 through 3.13.
Not to interrupt, for the record, can you say what those categories are? Like 3.01 is annual appointments for 20.
Absolutely.
You don't have to read everything in there, but just so everybody knows what they are. Thank you.
It's not working. 3.01, annual appointments for 2022 through 2023. 3.02, summer work/projects approval. 3.03, appointment of treasurer. 3.05, facility and energy usage fees. 3.06, depositories of school funds. 3.07, competitive electronic auction bidding. 3.08, cooperative purchasing agreements. 3.10, newspapers of record. 3.11, petty cash accounts. 3.12, procurement card use. 3.13, taxpayer bill of rights.
Thank you. Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sullivan. Any discussion on those items? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0.
Motion 3.04, contracted services for 2022-2023. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the contractual agreement and service relationships with the following companies and individuals for the 2022-2023 school year. Number 1, Sweet Stevens Katz and Williams LLP. Number 2, Paul Raven DDS, our dentist. Number 3, Adam Mikulski, DO school physician. Number 4, Council of Southeastern Pennsylvania student assistants. Number 5, contracted services for Pupil Services, General Healthcare Resources LLC, Source for Nurses, Austin's Educational Therapy Services, PHS Partners Consulting, Middletown Township, The Barn, Maternity Care Coalition. Number 6, Stalker and Associates Healthcare and Prescription Benefit Plan Consultant.
Thank you. Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bowman. Call for discussion. Any of those items? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0.
3.09, breakfast/lunch pricing. Resolved that the Neshaminy School District Board of Directors hereby establishes the following 2022-2023 school year student and adult breakfast and lunch prices for 2022-2023, reflecting an increase from the current school year prices.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bowman. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Discussion.
Before we make that motion, Mr. Irwin, can you just tell us what the increases are from this year?
Yes, the increases, just before I give you the numbers, you have to remember, we have not increased lunch prices since the 2018-19 school year because of the pandemic and all children being free during the pandemic. So these prices encompass a 3-year period. And as well as we sit here today, everybody that's gone to the grocery store has recognized in their own world, trying to feed their family, the incredible increases in inflation that are on food prices. And these prices will be in our midst for the entire 22-23 school year. So they'll take us from September 2022 through June of 2023. So we are anticipating increased pricing as we continue to move through the year. So we have increased prices for elementary breakfast by 15 cents, elementary lunch by 20 cents, middle school and high school breakfast by 20 cents, and middle school and high school lunches by 25 cents. I still think that these are very reasonable prices. The $3.35 for the meals that are provided for the secondary students at lunch, I think is a very good nutritional meal and a very good quality, not only quality, but a very good price for the value and the amount that the children are getting.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0. That brings us to agenda item 4, personnel. Mr. Sporny, please.
Sure. 4.01, retirement/resignation/end of assignments. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following retirements and resignations of administrative staff, and there are 2 names.
Thank you, Mr. Sporny. Any discussion on that? Motion? No, sorry. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sullivan. Now, is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0. Agenda 5, personnel certificated. Mr. Sullivan, please.
5.01, retirements, resignations, end of assignments. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following retirements, resignations of certified staff, and there's 47 names on the list. And actually, the last name on the list is Amy O'Neill with 32.6 years of service to the district.
Nice. Has a motion been made? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cerullo. Any comments? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries 8-0.
I'd like to make a master motion for item 5.02, leaves of absence, 5.03, revised leave of absence, 5.04, revised returns from leave, 5.05, appointments, 5.06, co-curricular appointments, and 5.07, summer appointments.
Motion has been made. Does it have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cerullo. Any comments on those motions? Call for vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries 8-0. That brings us to agenda item 6, personnel support. Ms. Hollenbeck, please.
We all keep moving our microphone, even though we don't want
Then they still don't work, right?
6.01, retirements, resignations, end of assignments. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following retirements, resignations of support staff. There are 15 names on the list. I would like to point out Susan Ginsburg with 27 and a half years of service for Neshaminy, Kenneth Hunter with 22 and a half years of service, Scott Lang, 32.8 years, Michelle Minnick, 24 years, Marianne States with 22 years, and Frances Wise with 25.5 years. Thank you for your dedication to Neshaminy.
Yes. The motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bowman. Any comments? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0.
I'd like to make a master motion for 6.02, leaves of absence, 6.03, revised leave of absence, 6.04, appointments, 6.05, summer appointments.
There's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lafferty. Comments? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0. Brings us to agenda item 7, business operations. I'm going to take 7.01. Bucks County Technical High School budget for 2022 through 2023. Whereas in order to provide technical high school education for our students, 6 Lower Bucks County school districts cooperatively established the Bucks County Technical High School, and whereas each participating school district must annually vote on the technical high school's annual budget, now therefore be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the 2022 through 2023 Bucks County Technical High School budget in the total amount of $32,298,578. The operating budget of $30,286,374. With the Neshaminy School District 2022 through 2023 net fiscal payment to be $5,113,460. I have made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Bowman. Is there any comments, discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
I apologize. That is a roll call vote. Ms. Burns, please.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hallenbeck?
Yes.
Mr. Kovitz? Oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Linden?
Yes.
Mr. Cirillo?
Yes.
Mr. Sporny?
Yes.
And Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
8 yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Wonderful. I will save comments on that at the end. 7.03, Mr. Linden, please.
7.03, the 2022 homestead and farmstead exclusion. Be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the attached homestead and farmstead exclusion resolution that authorizes a real estate tax assessment reduction for the school year beginning July 1st, 2022, under the provisions of the Homestead Property Exclusion Program Act, part of Act 50 of 1998, and the Taxpayer Relief Act, Act 1 of 2006. And 7.04.
Well, hold on.
One at a time.
Let's do one at a
Yeah, sorry.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cerullo. Are there any comments on 7.03? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions? Motion carries 8-0. Mr. Linden?
7.04, appointment of Assistant Board Secretary. Whereas 24 PS 4-404 and 24 PS 4-434 of the School Code permit the Board of School Directors to elect a secretary and an assistant secretary. And whereas the Neshaminy Board of School Directors appointed Jennifer Burns to serve as secretary for a 4-year term from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025, with an annual salary of $10,300. Now therefore be it further resolved that Donna Moran Griff is appointed Assistant Secretary to the Neshaminy Board of School Directors for a 4-year term from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025, with no additional compensation associated with the appointment.
There's a motion on the floor. Does it have a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Hollenbeck. Any discussions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0. Can I say it again, Ms. Burns? Thank you. That brings us to agenda item number 8, educational development. Ms. Bowman, please.
All right, I'd like to make a motion, 8.01, out-of-district placements. Whereas, in order to meet the educational programming needs of specific students, it may be advantageous to utilize the services of out-of-district providers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the out-of-district placements identified below. And there are 5 students listed.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Sullivan. Any discussions or comments on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0.
I'd like to make a motion, 8.02, student settlement agreements, whereas the Neshaminy School District has outlined a private and confidential agreement with the families of students number 7XXXX5 and 7XXXX6. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves providing the educational programming as specified in said agreement.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cerullo. Is that agenda open for comments, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0.
I'd like to make a motion, 8.03, overnight trips, whereas according to board policy number 618, trips extending overnight are permitted by authorization of the Board of School Directors only. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following overnight trips, and there are 3 trips listed.
The motion has been made. Does it have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lafferty. Any comments? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0. Good luck to them on their trip. That brings us to agenda item 9. That is policy. It's Mr. Cerullo, please.
I would like to make a motion to approve item number 901, second reading of policy.
Whereas the first reading of Policy Series 300 Employees was completed at the May 10th, 2022 Public Works Session with board action items, and whereas the following board policies are being recommended by the Policy Committee for second reading and final adoption into the Neshaminy School District Policy Manual. Now therefore be it resolved that Neshaminy School Board of Directors hereby approves the policies noted below for final adoption into the Neshaminy School District Policy Manual.
Motion has been made. Does it have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Linden. I did recognize your voice right away. Sorry about that. It has a second. It's open for discussion or comments. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 8-0. That will bring us into the home stretch here, the closing of the meeting. Do we have any other board business?
I do.
Ms. Bowman, please.
Just want to put this on everybody's radar as new business for the upcoming months. March of 2022, the Senate voted into law a bill giving municipalities and school districts the ability to discount or rebate first volunteer firefighters and first responders, tax rebates and discounts. I would like to explore and discuss this action in future business operations meetings, the possibility of offering a tax rebate for the volunteer first responders of Neshaminy School District.
At business hours.
But I just want to put it on everybody's radar.
Very good. Seeing no other hands raised, that will bring us to our second round of public comment. Ms. Burns, if you would just read out.
Yes, Lindsay Binder.
Be mindful that there's a 3-minute time limit, please.
It doesn't.
It's broken right now.
That would be a good question.
I think the overheads are on, so just talk really loud.
All right, sounds good. Good evening. My name is Lindsay Binder. I'm a resident of Langhorne, and I'm currently a sophomore at Neshaminy High School. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the Neshaminy newspaper publication, The Playwikian. I know that for a lot of you that holds a particularly negative connotation. However, I'm not here to rehash our history. I'm here to seek change for the future. As editor-in-chief, I communicate with numerous students, many of which are concerned with the events that took place over this year, one of which being the removal of one of our teachers. In 2018, the Playwikian published an article about Neshaminy's handling of sexual misconduct complaints against teachers. The article attempted to shed light on the mishandling of complaints made against this teacher for various reasons. When a student files a complaint about a teacher, no matter how severe it may be, it is put onto the student record and not the teacher. These records are also erased 7 years after the student graduates. This allows for possible predators to continue to teach young children and adolescents in the district. The current policy allows for the incident to follow the student and not the teacher, resulting in enabling inappropriate behaviors. Teachers also know that after a certain time, their records are expunged. Though I was not a student at Neshaminy High School when the 2018 article was published, the policy consistently affects the entire student body today. Not only us, but the entire community. Students want to be able to know that when they come to school they are safe and protected. Parents want to know that their children are safe and in no danger. So I've come to ask you today, the board and the superintendent, how as a community can we come together to change this policy so that the complaints filed against teachers go onto teacher records, so that we can protect ourselves, our peers, and for many of us in this room, your children, from predatory behavior.
Azalea Miles.
You just start with introduce yourself.
I'm Azalea. I'm here to speak about the team. So, the last time I spoke about this issue, the board brushed it off and said that they couldn't address anything other than the pandemic at that time. Now that that is not a priority because you guys have removed basically all COVID precautions. Now you guys can stop avoiding this issue that's important to many people in the Neshaminy community. Our team name is a dictionary-defined slur, and Native American students and parents have expressed hurt from it. One example is a Native American student who said, "The team name is a filthy reminder of how my ancestors were treated and how my mother's side of the family was and is treated. My mother's great-grandma was named Ethel. She was Native American and owned many acres of land in central Pennsylvania several decades ago. She married an English white man who once he married Ethel, raped her, and sold her off her land to the highest bidder. That's what the team name means to me." It also violates the school board's own policy 547, which considers slurs impermissible discrimination, and the team name is a dictionary-defined slur in almost every dictionary. The board seems to be convincing themselves and trying to convince us that all of this is right, with the fact that they didn't intend on harming or offending anyone, but the intention doesn't change the impact, definition, or the fact that it violates our school policy. If you're cooking and you accidentally set your house on fire, but you weren't intending on that, that doesn't change the fact that you set your house on fire. And that's the logic that the defense of our team name has been using. Can I ask a question?
If you want to wait for, there'll be a chance for the board and superintendent to respond.
Okay,
You
so-
can include a question now, yes. Don't expect
Is
it.
there a time later to include a question?
No, now it's
This
good.
is the time. Okay, so can I preface it first? In the past, anytime I've asked this question, I got told that the case to defend the name was just for Neshaminy's right to determine their own way to run the district and make their own decisions and not the government. But I'm not talking about any case or your right to decide. I just want to know why, assuming that the decision is totally yours, why morally you want to keep a name that's a racial slur and that violates the district's policy, and could you please address the part about it violating your policy and being a slur? And also, what factors do you guys consider important to the issue of the team name, and how do they overtake the fact that the name is a slur and that it violates Neshaminy's own policy?
Thank you.
I don't have any further comments.
No further silence. Anyone wish to approach the podium? Seeing none, I'll close this period of public comment. And we will start with Dr. McGee. If you have any comments or short thoughts.
I will offer to meet with Ms. Binder at some point. I will say publicly that I was there for those incidences, and I can say what was written in the Play Wiki. It may not be entirely accurate, so I'm comfortable with where we are as far as documenting things involving the police and reporting to the state appropriately. So that particular article has got a lot of legs that may not be exactly true. So I'll be happy to explain that as best as I can. And I'll say to Azalea, thank you. We understand, and I'll let the board comment from there. And that's what it comes down to. Now it is a decision of the community and of the board at some point. So that's where we stand. Now that we've cleared the litigation, that's where I get Thank you.
Dr. McGee, representative board comment? Open it up. I have one tonight. I will just then, say, it is on the mind of many of us on the board. The pandemic is, we are moving on, and we will get back to issues at hand. That is an issue at hand. I have said many times my belief that our district, these buildings, belong to our community. I was adamant that outside pressure was not going to force us to make any kind of changes for whatever the reasons. It is a community decision. It remains a community decision. I'm not putting it off indefinitely, we will bring it up and it will be discussed. I promise. And with that, I want to comment on the tech school, and I want to thank the board for reaffirming our commitment to the tech school. I've said a number of years, the tech school has a history in my family. My father taught there for a number of years. I have many friends throughout the district who have attended, learned their careers, and have made a fantastic living at it within the community. What that tech school contributes to our community, it's hard to put a handle on it. As a mechanic, technical type guy myself, I won't get into the bruised egos that some who push their children or talk about college education and university career path as the only path. I think our commitment to the tech school says otherwise. And the fact that we're turning children away because there simply aren't enough seats over there for us, which is another subject that we've approached many times and we're continuing to work on because we want to open it up to as many of our students that wish to attend there. And with that, I will close my comments and again, thank the board for supporting the tech school and our involvement there. Future meetings, we have on the 1st of June, Business Operations Committee at 6:30 p.m. here, District Office. Our next public board meeting is the 7th of June at 7 p.m. here in this room. We have a facilities meeting coming up, June 8th, also in this room, 6:30 p.m. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hollenbeck. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention. Motion carries 8-0. Thank you, everyone.
Oh.